Hello everyone. So one of the question that I keep getting, and I don't know why I keep getting that question at such a massive frequency, is that will AI take our job? Will AI render actuarial useless, or I might spend a lot of money working or maybe studying for actually, and then that will make the job redundant. And the parents and their teachers etc. are already saying this. So should I do actually? So this is a question that I have kept on getting, and I thought why not make a video on this, right? And I think this is a very important topic to address. Now, the question here is the real question here is, are you afraid of AI taking your job, or are you afraid of your own lack of intelligence? Why I'm asking now, this is a tough question, right? I'm telling you to question yourself because this is how I have always questioned myself. When I'm not able to understand something, I am always asking whether this question is tough enough or whether I do not have the requisite concept. Usually, in our family, in our surroundings, in our upbringing, we are taught never to think bad about ourselves. If we are able to do, say, level one work, we would try to say that we can do level three work, and that is the problem, right? This is how our current government is also functioning, and that is where Indian economy is in shambles. That is a separate topic for a separate discussion. But what I wanted to, maybe share today is I am just working on AI. I was learning about AI. I have a postgraduate diploma in AI as well. But those concepts, those knowledge are already still today. So I did that in 2023 or I think 2024. And after that, even in 2026, just 2 years have passed. Those knowledge are still. So AI basically has two, major component. One, I would say machine learning, and then within machine learning, I cannot say that it is something separate. But right now, whatever invention that you are seeing, that would be deep learning, right? So we have machine learning. Machine learning have things like random forest, decision tree, principal component analysis, linear regression that as actuaries we have studied, logistic regression. All these are part of machine learning, right? So in this case, the concept is that you have enough data and you have labeled data. Also, there is supervised and unsupervised learning. So this means that you have some labeled data, like that if this is the data, then this should be the conclusion. If this is the data, then that should be the conclusion. And in that way, the machine or the algorithm or the computer, they learn, right? So whenever you come across similar situation that is not there, it will be able to give a conclusion for that, right? So machine learning was much simpler, but the principle and concept that were used there, that along with the current technological advancement has created deep learning, which is based on how our brain perceives things, and that is called neural network. But our brain is much more complex. Neural network is a simplification of that. And then from neural network we have LLM and lang chain and lang graph and whatnot, right? So this lang chain and lang graph are used for creating AI agents. AI agents basically operates like human. Like for example, if you want to book a cab, an AI agent would try to find. First of all, it will open the app. Say you are using Uber or Rapido or whatever, right? So then you will go to that app. It will try to find the car or auto, etc. Then when you find it, suppose the driver cancels, then it will again try to find it, and it will ensure that everything is done. So this is how AI agent works. It exactly works like a human being, right? So that would be an application of LangChain, LangGraph, etc. And LLM, you have already used it. It is Chat GPT, where there is nothing that it is generating, right? It is generating like numbers and analysis. So that is what LLM is. And then LLM needs to connect to something, connect to some data, right? Where it is getting the context of some things, right? There is concept like tokenization, so many things. So all of those things would be something that we can discuss later, and we will discuss that later. In fact, I'm thinking of creating an YouTube channel where we'll be specifically talking about AI, like we have made actual concept easier to understand for all. And even today, we started our YouTube channel in 2023 June, or maybe 2022 June. I do not. I think 2022 June. And even till today, there is no actual channel that teaches concept. There would be channels mushrooming on podcast. People would invite others, and they will do podcast, and that is also because I joined a podcast of someone, and then that podcast got a lot of views. So now people are doing podcasts. Now they are bringing people who are at a very junior level, who has qualified, and that is their sole achievement of life. The biggest achievement of their life, that they have qualified in some knowledge or in some books that are outdated by 10 years. And in today, especially in today's industry, we are not using that. We're using AI to probably code and understand things, analyze data, etc. And then we get this question that is actuarial, or will the actual profession be there because AI is taking over everything? And it is true. The actual profession would be impacted by AI. It is taking away, like AI is impacting every profession, and actual profession will also be one of the things that will be impacted. But let me demonstrate some live example. And if you are following me in LinkedIn, I have been doing that for some time. But I hope that in this YouTube channel, I'll be also able to demonstrate what I've done with AI and how it is helping me, right? So if you are asking that uh, will actual profession vanish? No, that is not going to happen. Actual profession will modify itself, right? Now, many of you know that I'm a qualified actually. I had my own department, so I think that you are already aware. If you are seeing this video, probably you are already aware of that, right? So, and I have specialization in investment as well, and I have also a referral level two. So all of this helped me in my trading journey. So the moment I got hold of AI and how it works, right? I'm still learning. I cannot claim that I'm an expert. Like I can claim the same thing maybe for actually, I can claim the same thing maybe for trading now. But for AI, I think I'm somewhere at the intermediate level, and it will probably take me another, maybe 1 year to get to that level, or maybe slightly lower than that. But to get to that level where I can, create something massive of my own, probably that will take me 1.5 year. But it depends on the invention, the way things are moving. It is also fast tracking me, right? So that is how AI is going to impact. The only question that you should be asking: are you intelligent enough? If you are dumb, then not only AI, everything else will crush you in the process, right? So people who are dumb, they would stop learning beyond the point. They will come to podcast and say, I have cleared actually in papers. Maybe I'm actually by age of 23, and that's it. Great achievement for me. And people who are intelligent, they will never say that is their achievement. They will constantly reinvent themselves. They will keep finding new things in which they would like to gain expertise, right? So when I started with actually thinking that it is the only field in which you can predict future. And then today my thought process about that is completely different. Then I moved into trading when I was almost at the end of my actually only one paper left. And then that also helped me in my qualification as well. And then it gave me an alternative source of income. Now today, when I have mastered the trading, right, or reached a stage where I can gain consistent income on month-on-month basis, and that is present in the data, right? Everything has to be validated by the data. If it is not validated by the data, then that is not correct. Then that is just pure wishful thinking, I believe. So when I was able to do that, right, then I moved into artificial intelligence. Of course, here and there, I was, like I mentioned, I was doing the PGDM in AI, right? So I wanted to do that because I know that sooner or later I'm going to, involve myself heavily in this, right? But I have not started that before finishing the other thing, right? So once only when I am closer to the end of something, that some skill that I'm trying to achieve, then only I have moved into the other skill and try to understand that if I can do better in that phase or not, right? So today I'm going to give you a couple of examples that how AI has changed my thought process, my ability, and how it has enabled me to do something that I was not able to do earlier, right? So the only question that you should be asking yourself, rather than elimination or complete destruction of any profession, rather than asking this question, and rather than being influenced by your parents and friends and certain, because they themselves do not know, the biggest achievement for them probably would be their job. So they themselves are living a very average life. And if you want to, and there is nothing wrong with that, right? If you are living an average life, you are happy with the average life, then that's fine. I'm talking from an exception point because I believe I am not average. I am always striving for to be in the top 0.01% or maybe below, even above that, right? So I'm not influenced by what others are saying. I have my own thought process and I would like to follow that thought process. And even if I'm wrong, I'm happy to accept that, right? Many times I've been wrong and I'm very happy to accept that. But I'll go down swinging rather than not trying at all. That has always been my thought process. Now let me share my screen and share how AI has impacted me. And you tell me whether my profession is in danger or that might help me, right? So let me share my screen. Okay, I hope you can see my desktop now. Now, here you can see there are multiple icons. So there are a couple of icons that I want to focus on, which I have created using Claude Code. Now, Claude Code is a paid software that is created by Anthropic. So I have downloaded the desktop version of it. If I show you, this is how it looks, right? This is the Claude Code. And if I'm just opening that, so this is I'm going into the code section. It requires $20 subscription for I think pro account, and then there are other high level subscription that is present as well. And there are so many. These are the things that I was doing because in which area I should use AI, the area in which I have strong domain knowledge. What are those areas? Actually, is one of those areas. But actually, I'm working for a company, so I'm utilizing that there, and I cannot share the details with you. That is confidential, right? So I cannot share the details with you. But what I can share with you is investment or trading, because that is also another area that I work on. That is a source of income for me and a strong source of income for me. That enables me to be honest, speak my mind, be confident. Because what the max could happen? I can lose my job, right? That is the max that can happen. But trading knowledge would always stay with me, right? That will always give me some sustainable income. I may not leave my current lifestyle, but I can still live a decent lifestyle, right? So that is always there. And more you learn, more you understand that you need to be humble, you need to respect others, need to respect others' opinion. So you never be rigid, right? Because you expect that there are many areas in which you can be wrong and others should be right, or you might be partially correct. You might not be completely wrong. You might be partially correct. You need to fine tune those. You need to refine those, right? That is also one of the things that that is part of artificial intelligence. We call that fine tuning, parameterization, and so many things. Right? There is an entire subject on that. That how we can fine tune, right? In fact, it there is something called backward propagation where it tries to find the local minima, and that concept of AI is based on repeatedly fine-tuning the distance between two parameters. So that is how it works. The lower the distance, the better it is, right? That means you are much more closer to the reality, right? So that is how we uh, model as well. Even in actually, I think you understand that this concept is valid. Anyway, so I was using Claude to create multiple things. So the first thing that I created using Claude to help me in my trading would be this, what I call FNO scanner. What is this? So this is creating a local server or converting my laptop to a server. And if I go here, right, and if I open this, so this is showing me the stocks that is based on my filtering criteria, which I have learned over the years that these stocks should be bullish and also these stocks are bearish, right? If I this refreshes every 1 minute, right? And this also shows that right now market is kind of bearish. That intuition is also there because right now 21 stocks are bearish and six stocks are bullish, right? So this is I have utilized my domain knowledge that I have learned over the years through theory, through practical, mostly through practical trading. That has been put here, and I am seeing that result, right? Now this is no recommendation or anything. This is how I have learned about how I trade in the market, and I've utilized that experience, put it in mathematical terms, and coded this segment. I do not have any knowledge of HTML, Java, CSS, etc. But because Claude have that knowledge, and because I have domain knowledge, now Claude do not have domain knowledge. Claude do not have my experience, right? So I have utilized that, and I have utilized whatever Claude knows to create this. Was creating this easy? No. There are multiple iterations. There are multiple times load was wrong. There are multiple times it was failing. But finally, over a period of time, I was able to do that. Right. So this will show you the bullish stock. This will show you the bearish stock, right? And it's in that order. Right now, it is saying that Whirlpool is probably falling the most. Right? So if you have to take a bearish position, you have to take bearish position in Whirlpool. But once again, this is not a stock recommendation. I am not a stock advisor, and by SEBI regulations, we cannot do that as well. So please consult your own financial advisor for this. Right? These are just for psychological education, right? What I am kind of doing right now. Now that is one thing that I created. What is the next thing that I created? Next thing I've created is to augment this. Augment the scanner. That is what you call heat map. So if I click here, then once again, this is converting my laptop into a server, and this is what it is showing. So the heat map shows how the overall industry is behaving. This is Nifty, which is an index. This is Bank Nifty, which is another index. Both are in red. You can see many sectors which are in red. Oil and gas in red. Nifty auto is in red. Nifty consumption is in red. There are only few sectors which are in green, which is IT, realty. These are bullish sector, right? Now, if I want to see which stocks in this sector, suppose I want to take a bearish position in oil and gas. So the moment I come here, it shows that Mahanagar gas is in positive, and this ONGC is maximum negative, right? This ONGC is maximum negative today. So if I have to take a bearish position, I should probably take a bearish position there, right? It is also showing that Nifty is bearish, Bank Nifty is bearish, so overall market is bearish. It is proper to take a trade, or it makes sense to take a trade in the bearish stock market. Even I have created a custom index which I created on my own. This is Nifty share market. It consists of the share market related shares like CDSL, BSE, MCX. I have created that as well, right? So you can understand if you have domain knowledge, and then if you can use the knowledge that is given by Cloud AI, what miracle you can create. And this is just the tip of iceberg. I have not even shown you the real power, right? Now this is now we are able to identify. We have a scanner which allows me to identify few of the stocks, right? So let us stay focused on the maybe the bearish one. Then we have this which will also suggest whether the overall market is positive or negative, right? Now, how to determine whether the market might be what is the intensity of that positiveness or negativeness, right? The market might be extremely positive, market might be slightly negative, right? In this case, it is 0.54%, so that might be an indication that it might be slightly negative. For that, we have something. Now this requires deep trading knowledge. So we have something called straddle. I do not have any time to explain what is straddle, but that depends on the derivative trading concept. So you can search for what is short straddle and how it works. Right. I'm not going to explain that because this video will be very, very long in that case. So I have also created a chart for the straddle which is not available anywhere. Right. The heat map you might find somewhere. The scanner, there are several services which are providing that scanner service, but it was not able to build what I wanted. But there are services like that. This is not present anywhere. Right. So I have created a chart for the straddle, and now see, you can see in the background how many things are working. This is TradingView, which is the charting platform. So it is fetching the data from the charting platform, and then it is creating this all of this, right? Once again, was creating all of this easy? No, it was not easy. Took a lot of time, right? It was not easy at all. It took a lot of effort as well. But then, once I was able to combine my domain knowledge with the knowledge of AI, right? So that works. Now here you can see it is loading history, right? It's trying to loading history, and it is showing me Nifty right now is 23,761. It is fetching real-time data. That ATM strike, which is the current value of the ATM or the at the money option, that is at 23,750, right? So this is the straddle chart. Usually it is a it is a diminishing chart. It always falls, right? That means the market is kind of sideways. But whenever it is trying to go up, that means market is volatile. Like for example, here it has gone up, that means it is volatile. Not only that, I'm also capturing the data from 915. So at 915 it was 963, and this was the strategy. It is refreshing every 1 minute. That is why it jumps to the bottom, right? So that data is 950, 915. Here the market started falling 893, 900. So here also we can see there is a consistent fall, right? 950, 950, 900, 900, 900. So now 900 we can see it has stayed there. Then again it has gone up. So it was that volatile, right? Then from 950 again, now we can see 850, 850, 850. It shows that initially it was volatile, initially it was moving up and down, and now it has taken a bearish stance. Right? So along with the scanner and heat map and everything, this gives you a perfect sense of direction as well. And there is something mathematical about this chart as well, which I cannot explain to you because that will require the concept of strategy. Once again, that suggests if you have powerful domain knowledge and that will combine with your AI knowledge, right? Or whatever AI tools are giving you or aiding you, right? You can create wonders, right? So that is the power of that. Now, only in, whether I have applied this only in trading, no, there is something else that I've created as well. Right now, my priority is my fitness because I've gained a lot of weight. Probably, that is evident from the video as well. I broke my foot in October and I was bedridden for 2.5 months. So I gained a lot of weight. Before that, also I was gaining weight, and that is where I felt that I have to lose a lot of weight, and for that I built this a timer. Now I searched entire Play Store. I was not able to find this, but this is a timer which suggests that suppose you are working out for 60 minutes, then one repetition lasts for 30 seconds, and then you are taking break for 30 seconds, or maybe this can be maybe for 45 seconds, right? So now if you start that or maybe let me keep it small. So suppose because I wanted to demonstrate this, right? So if I, if I have started this and let me share the sound for this as well. I don't know how to share sound. You should be able to hear the sound from the computer. So you can see that the last 3 seconds it is warning you that the seconds are getting are ending, right? So that is how I have created another app aid me in my fitness journey as well. And once again, all these are tip of iceberg. The potential for this is limitless. So the question once again, and I'll come back to the video because that's all I wanted to share. So the question once again is, are you intelligent enough to understand this, to recognize this? Are you intelligent enough to accept your mistake and keep on learning? Because if you are intelligent enough, no matter what profession you are in, it need not be actually, right? It can be something else as well. But even in that profession, you will find use of the current or the contemporary technological advancement and you can further your career. But if you are dumb, then nothing can help you. Even Prime Minister Modi ji cannot come and help you, right? So that is why that is the right question. Instead of asking a question, a foolish question, I will say a foolish question, a dumb question like, will actual profession survive? Of course it is going to survive because intelligent people are going to evolve. The nature of the work is going to evolve, right? The risk that is prevalent today, that might die and new risk would be emerging, right? So it is up to you if you can adapt to that. If you cannot adapt to that, if you think whatever things were prevalent in the past, the same thing will continue for future, then my friend, you cannot survive, right? And then my friend, you should not survive. That is the law of natural selection. You should be wiped out so that more intelligent species can take your space. You should not be harming this planet, right? So right now, that is where we are short on in this world because the world is in a transition phase. We are seeing dumb people taking over as senior leadership role, not only in corporates or other places, but also in a government sort of scenario, right? We are seeing wars, we are seeing fights, we are seeing religion based, casteism based, civil wars, etc. Which only happens when human beings behave as dumb people, right? So the question that you should be asking yourself is, are you dumb or are you intelligent? If you're intelligent, you can survive, right? At one point of time, we had only fire as our weapon, and we survived, and we managed to create this big house and everything and whatnot, right? So if we can survive that, AI is nothing, right? AI is nothing. Everything will be, we can survive everything. So whether the CGI has called us cockroaches or whatnot, right? But we can survive because cockroaches can survive nuclear war. So we can definitely survive. The question is once again, are you intelligent enough? If you are intelligent enough, you will make any profession work for you. If you are dumb enough, no profession will work for you. Even if you are an AI engineer, you still fail in that profession, right? So the idea is to have domain knowledge. First is to have domain knowledge. For domain knowledge, you have to understand something in great depth. Right now, I'm doing the same for artificial intelligence. I'm not happy with creating something. I'll be happy when I know how the neural network works. What is the mathematics behind neural network? What is the mathematics behind deep learning? What is the mathematics behind machine learning? So that I can create something of my own. I should not stop at creating, because right now I am creating it. Maybe 30 days later you would be creating that as well. There are people who are already creating more than I have created, right? Even in my domain. So how would I distinguish myself from them? I can only distinguish myself from them when I know the maths behind that. Then anything and everything will be easy for me, right? Because this is how I see the world. Everything in the world can be, changed into a converted into a mathematical equation. And if you have knowledge about the mathematical equation, nothing can stop you. Everything in your life, everything. Think about normal distribution, Poisson distribution, etc. The statistical distribution that you have studied, forgot, right? So those would be utilized to explain many of your life scenarios, psychological thought process, kind of what we are kind of doing right now. That would be helpful. So don't ask stupid question. Ask the question, are you intelligent enough? And if you are not intelligent enough right now, that is a very good step towards being intelligent. If you feel that that is the case, then think what you can do to be intelligent, right? Maybe that would be liking and subscribing to this channel. Maybe that would be liking and subscribing to the other AI channel that we are going to launch in future, right? So all of those things are important. You have to give up on being stingy and being miserly. You have to spend your money, because until unless you spend money, you will never going to get the true benefit of software and everything. And eventually, some people has created this. They have given their hard cost, hard labor, and blood and whatnot, and blood and sweat, right? So now you are looking everything for free. That is what being utilized by the politicians to rig elections. They're giving you free money, free electricity, free whatever. Nothing is free in this market. Nothing is free in this world, right? And you have this habit of asking everything for free. Please make this free for me. Please give me a discount. Stop asking those silly questions and try to think how you can be intelligent, how you can utilize things so that you get to a better level, instead of asking whether this will let me survive, right? If you are a beggar, you will always ask for forgiveness, and you always want to be helped by someone to survive. And if you are say if you are a god, right? If you are a god, if you are a superior being, then only you will not ask for forgiveness. You'll say, hey, I want to make this work and I will make this work, right? Maybe with my team, with my other friends, with my family, I can make this work. So that is what you should aim for. That is the right question. Please stop asking this question. Thanks. See you in future videos.